Tonight on Beer Geek Nation, Dogfish Head, Aprihop. Hey guys, welcome to Beer Geek Nation. I'm your host, Chris Steltz. Tonight we're going to be looking at a seasonal release from Dogfish Head. It's their spring-summer release. It is Aprihop, which is a IPA that they flavor with dried and fresh apricots. Comes in at 7%. And this is actually a redo of last year's Aprihop release, which I guess wasn't very good. I've never had this beer, but from what I understand, last year's release it was completely unbalanced. It had a lot of weird off flavors to it. Some people said their bottles even tasted like stouts, so it sounds like there might have been a bottling mix-up, or I don't know what happened. But you know, Dogfish Head said, "Okay, all right, we understand. We did wrong." So they went back. They redesigned the recipe, and this is the result of it. So hopefully it's a little bit better. I don't know. It didn't have last year's. I'm always wary of fruit beers, with the exception of like a lambic or, off the top of my head, Founder's Cerise, which they ferment on cherries. I've never had a decent fruit beer. They always kind of end up tasting really fake to me. If you're in, the Pennsylvania area and you can get Lancaster Brewing Company, it's their strawberry wheat. It's a weird beer. It just tastes like high C kind of fruit flavors, like really unnatural, overly sweet. And that's what these fruit beers can kind of do. If they do use like a really bad extract or the wrong kind of flavors, they can get overly sweet or they can get way too sour. So there's really kind of a fine line when brewing with fruit, especially fruits like raspberries and strawberries. They can get really bitter really quick if you're not careful with them. Apricots, I don't know. I would assume that would be a good fruit for like brewing like a big Belgian or something, but who knows? Maybe it works in an IPA. They tend to be, dried apricot can be pretty sweet. So let's get this in a glass and give it a shot, and I will let you know how it is. So pouring, as you can see in the video, pours a nice clear, dark ruby, not ruby, but kind of like a dark orange, kind of dark burnt orange. It's really carbonated. Carbonation just pouring off the bottom of the glass. That was about a finger's worth of head on it. It's, an off-white eggshell kind of head. No noticeable aroma on the pour from where I was sitting, but it smells like a pretty typical East Coast IPA. Kind of the malts, a lot of German type malts, Pilsner malts. A little bit of citrus in the hops, not as much as I was expecting there was going to be. It's more of an earthy, spicy type of hop. Again, kind of a German feel to it to me. Definitely more of a West Coast type of IPA. Not very similar to if you've had their 60-minute or 90-minute. It's not like that at all, where you get excuse me, lots of citrus and pine from those, kind of like an East Coast type IPA. I'm not getting that at all in this. More of a spicy, earthy type of smell to it. I'm getting excuse me, very little apricot in it, which is kind of strange because I was expecting to have that to be a predominant aroma. I'm getting, a little bit of kind of sourness in it, and I'm assuming that's the apricot coming through. Yeah, definitely. It's about 40 degrees. I would imagine as it warms up, because even in the couple minutes that it's been sitting in the glass, I've gotten more. It smells like dried apricot. And it says they use fresh apricot. I don't, they might use a little bit of both, but I'm definitely getting, that dry kind of. That you get, the apricot you get in like a little plastic bag or like in trail mix or something. I'm getting a lot of that aroma behind it. All right, let's give it a taste. It's okay. It's a fairly good IPA. It's a lot. I don't. To be honest with you, I'm not getting hardly any of the apricot. I'm getting a little bit of sourness, which I'm assuming is from the apricot. Again, it's a pretty bitter IPA, so the bitterness is kind of mixing in there with the sourness of the fruit, I think. So it's kind of hard to say what is actually the apricot and what is actually hops. A little bit of citrus in the mouth and in the actual taste. It tastes a little bit different than it actually smells. I'm getting more of a citrus, piney type of hop flavor in the taste, mixed in there with a little bit of the sourness from the apricot. A little bit of breadiness from the malt. Again, it has that German type Pilsner malt feel to it. Not a lot of malt backbone. I'm getting more of the breadiness, the graininess, rather than the actual, like a solid dark malt backbone. But, it's a 7% IPA, so you wouldn't expect a lot of that. Yeah, it's all right. Dogfish Head makes better beers. I definitely recommend their 60-minute, their 90 minutes, really good. Can't say so much about the 120, but whatever. Can't all be winners, I guess. But yeah, it's not a bad beer. It is. I'm not getting a lot of fruitiness from it, so that's I guess a good thing. I don't tend to like fruit style beers, and I'm not getting a lot in this. It's a hint of it, which is kind of a nice touch. And I'm not getting that fake fruit extract, really sourness, kind of overly sweet flavor. So that's also pretty good. It seems like it's pretty well balanced. I would have hoped, because it is called Aprihop, I would have hoped for a little bit more apricot flavor to it. I am getting a little bit of the sourness from the apricot, but I'm not actually getting any of the the dried fruit taste or anything. Scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 7. It's available now if you can get Dogfish Head pretty much anywhere on the East Coast, and they're starting to go out into on the West Coast now, a little bit in California. Anywhere you can get it, you're going to be able to get this. Anywhere you can get Dogfish Head, you're going to be able to get this now. It's available throughout the summer. It's a good summer beer. It'd be a good beer to take to like a party or something. Would I search it out? Man, I wouldn't go crazy looking for it. There are probably better examples, but... So this is Dogfish Head's Aprihop, 7% ABV, available now through the summer. And until next time, cheers.